So, good evening, everyone. Welcome. So tonight's talk is part of the Spiritual Healthcare series, and the title is Embracing Happiness. Before I talk a bit about that, can I ask if it's anyone's first time at the Global Retreat Centre? Oh, yes, somebody. Okay, welcome. So just a little bit about the Retreat Centre. We're administered by the Brahma Kumaris, a registered charity, since 1975. And around the world, the Brahma Kumaris works out of about 130 different countries, teaching Raj Yoga meditation and other personal development courses. We're a not-for-profit organisation, so we don't charge for any of our events. Everything is done as a service to the local community, but donations are welcomed, and if you want to make a donation, you can do so via our website. So before I introduce our speaker, just a few housekeeping items. If I could ask you to turn your mobile phones to silent, so you don't disturb anyone else in the room. And just to let you know also that this event is being broadcast online in case you choose to share anything during the session. And finally, hopefully it won't happen, but if you hear the fire alarm, please remain seated. We'll find out where the alarm's been activated, and we'll let you know if we need to vacate the building, but hopefully that won't happen. So, embracing happiness. Can you appreciate what makes you truly happy and immerse yourself in an oasis of love and joy that isn't reliant on external conditions? To create this inner space, we need to let go of old habits and negative emotions. With this, our self-respect can grow, and we can attain clarity of thought and power in our actions. So this evening we will see how simple meditation practices can lead us to experience true happiness. So our speaker today is Ioana Goga. Ioana's deep interest in a higher purpose of life led her to discover meditation in 2009. She's currently based here at the Global Retreat Centre, where she studies and teaches Raj Yoga meditation. Ioana is fully committed to a life based on spiritual principles, and she feels that her love for meditation brings her tremendous benefits of happiness, inner wealth, and improved mental health. So I'd like to welcome Ioana to the stage.
Good evening. You can hear me? Yeah? Okay. Now it's better? Now you can hear. Okay. Shall we have one more minute whilst I settle down into the chair? So you already are in your positions, but shall we have 1 minute of silence and we start with a minute? Thank you. Really appreciating your interest in the topic and taking the time to come here and join everyone. And the first question would be, would you like to talk about happiness or would you like to experience happiness? What would be your option, one or two? I think you all want to experience happiness, to live in a way that is based on happiness. And even more than that, can we demonstrate our happiness? Can we show our happiness? Can you show your happiness now? How would you do that? If you want to show that you truly are happy, how do you do that? I can see you're smiling. Your face is showing your happiness. What else is showing happiness? How do you demonstrate your happiness? After so much spiritual endeavor, now that happiness is your right. And you are able to show it through your face, through your energy, vibrations, atmosphere that you are creating around you, at work, in the home, the impact that you are creating. The proof of happiness is that others are also starting to feel happy. The proof that you are happy, the proof that you have been through some inner transformation is a happiness that exists around you. And not only happiness, but others start to transform their lives. Happiness is glowing through your face and inspires others to follow. So I would like to show one photo. The first photo. Has anyone met the person who is shown on the screen? Do you know who he is? His name was Anthony Strano. He was a very well-known speaker of Brahma Kumaris. And it will be shown. Yeah. Does he look happy? He was an extremely happy person. And this story is from some years ago when this young lady came for a talk and Anthony Strano was speaking and he was laughing more than speaking. And this lady was in her first week with the spiritual studies. So she didn't know anything and she was telling us, I didn't understand a word from what he was saying. All I could feel was that vibration of happiness. He was so happy, constantly laughing. Everything he was saying, he was laughing. And I was sitting over there, the lady was saying, and I was wondering, how is it possible? Does he not have any problems at home? Does he not have a household, a job, a family, anxiety, questions? How can anyone be so happy? And then she said, I want to be as happy as he is. And I can be that. No? That's a true story. She followed this path for many years. That's the impact of happiness. There is another way to demonstrate our happiness when others are saying that you are happy. When others are saying that I never seen her upset. Is it possible that anyone will tell about you, I have never seen him getting angry? Who can say that? Is it possible for anyone to tell about you, I have never seen her being upset? Her face has always been peaceful and calm and contented. Anyone can say that? Can have the next slide? I press. It's the next slide. Again, two photos. Do they look happy? The one on my right, her name was Radhe. She was the first administration head of the Brahma Kumaris. And she left us in 1965 on the 24th of June, this month, 1965. And everyone who met there, they said, we have never seen. They were calling her in an affectionate way, Mama. I have never seen Mama's face upset, never. I have never seen a single trace of worry on her face, ever. And she has been through many challenges. The other one, Dadi Prakashmani, she left us in August, 25th of August 2008. She was a second administrator of Brahma Kumaris, administration head of Brahma Kumaris, this university. And again, I asked people. They said, Daddy would never be upset. Daddy's face would never change. Daddy was never angry. If one can do it, anyone can do it. It is possible. It is possible to experience happiness. It is possible for any one of you, of us, to get the certificate, she is never upset. From today on, until tomorrow. Tomorrow, someone can give us a certificate. Today, yesterday, you have never been upset. Shall we aim for that? I'll give you 2 more examples of impact. A story. 2 years ago, in 2022, there was an international project initiative for peace and meditation that lasted 40 days. It was called 100% security. During that 40 days, every morning, between 50 and 100 students were coming online to meditate for 15 minutes for having the feeling of complete security based on spiritual foundation in the world and sending that vibrations to the world, vibrations of peace, love, and happiness, based on knowing that you are a soul, you are secure. One group in that larger community was from China. They were coming every day, very regular. They had their translator. They would come every day, put a lot of effort. Their coordinator of Brahma Kumaris also joined. Until the last day, the day 40, when we discussed what was the impact of this project, and each one has shared. And the coordinator from China, Chen was her name, she said, I want to tell you a story. 3 months ago, in China, they gave a new law that forbids the activity of all the trusts and all the associations like our association, which practices Raja Yoga. So 3 months ago, they told us, you cannot be in this country, you cannot act. It would be illegal. And I started, as she was a coordinator, I started knocking on all the doors that I knew. I started to try to speak to the officials, to the government. Couldn't find any door that was opening. In the week, and then they joined the whole group, big group from China. They joined every day. In the last week of the project, she said, one of the officials called me and he said, I want to help you. And I've run to see him. I just went over there and spoke to them and be with them. And I said, how can we function? What would be the legal name and form of our organization? And she suggested something. He said, no, it's not possible, it's not legal. She suggested another type of association. No, it's not possible. Another type, no, it's not possible. And eventually he said, you can function as this kind of association under this form. I will give you all the support. And she came and she told us 2 days before the project was finished, 100% security. They've got the agreement in principle that they will be able to continue. And she came and she told us that because she had the feeling and the intuition that it was the power of that 40 days of collective meditation on being secure no matter what that made that miracle, she called it. And very interesting, 2 months ago, one of our colleagues came after a visit in China, and she told us now, after 2 years, they have finalized all the legal and official forms and papers, and everything is fine. They are legally acting. The power of your happiness, the power of your attitude. So I would like to add one more example, and then we will do a simple reflection exercise. And 1 year ago, personal example, and I would give that example so that you can also think for yourself, to find an example for yourself. 1 year ago, in a small gathering here, there was a discussion around the specialities of each one of us who were in that gathering. It was a very nice gift. And a small group said, "We have never heard you gossiping or complaining about anyone since you came here." It's very good. You accept that. Now, has it changed to 2 sentences, 2 affirmations? And we would like you to reflect now for a few moments. The first one is "I never." And I would like you to really consider now, during this year of 2024, only this year, I have never ... lied. I have never told a lie in this year. I have never complained. I have never gossiped. I have never got angry. And I asked someone today, "What would you say?" She said, "Oh, I can't say anything." But then she said, "Look, I realize I always have a positive attitude towards everyone." And I said, "Okay, it means you can say, I never reject anyone." And she immediately recognized herself. She said, "I have never in my life had the total attitude of rejecting anyone, because everyone is a soul. How can I reject them?" And she was quite happy with her discovery, because initially she thought, "I can't say I never got upset." Yes, but I never rejected anyone. So this is the first sentence that we would like you to reflect right now. In the last 1 month, some transformation in your life that you can acknowledge it. I have never been mean to anyone, bossy to anyone in the last 1 month. No one can say that I have been mean to them. Second affirmation, others really appreciate something about you. Your family, your workmates, your friends. Now let yourself be gifted with, what do others think about you? They say to you very often, "You are kind, you are trustworthy, you are generous-hearted, you have power, you give me power whenever I speak to you, you are honest, you are loving." No? So now take 1 minute, if you would like, to reflect on these 2 sentences, and then please find someone next to you. Just turn around. If you have already got that idea in your head, please turn around, find someone next to you, and share that with them. Share that positivity, that happiness that exists within you. It's very easy. I fully trust that you can immediately find the answers. Yeah? So let's have 1 minute now. And now if you can find someone else, please. Just turn around, see a new face, speak to them, say hello. Maybe introduce yourself if they don't know your name. Just 5 minutes interaction. Shall we return? Would you like to come back? Thank you. Thank you. Would you like to return? Thank you. You really enjoyed it. Everyone found something to share? Yes? Fantastic. How do you feel now, or anything that you would like to share now? You look happier. You connected with that energy. What is it? What did you connect with? What is it? Give it a name. What is it? Humility. Very good. Okay, humanity you said, or humility? Humanity, very good. Very good. Yes, we can call it consciousness. And that's a secret of our entire transformation and well-being. It's consciousness. In a second, you are able to tap into a different state of awareness, different awareness. And it is possible to do it in a second. From the awareness of being maybe after a day of work or any other occupation you had, into the awareness of someone who is special, who has that qualities that are extraordinary. I never do that. And they see me, others, it's a proof. I am the proof. You are the proof of that quality. They see you. That consciousness, we call it consciousness of being a soul. Soul consciousness. It is soul consciousness, one that brings at the surface everything that is good within us. And that is where our happiness emerges from the consciousness of being a soul. So let us experience that now once again in a more guided way. Thank you, Benjamin. It hasn't. Okay? Thank you. Shall we do that? How? How do we tap into that consciousness of being the soul in a second, in a moment? You all know that you are a soul. There is that information, that knowledge everywhere. Everyone knows he is a soul now. It is written on books, it is on YouTube, it is even on TV, in education system, everyone knows. But to experience that you are living as a soul in this physical material world, the soul and the energy of life become associated within this body. And within and through the body, the soul experiences this amazing world of sensations and colors and sounds and movement and push and pull, and to experience wonder of this life. The soul has to be awake, aware, seeing the benefits, seeing the attainments of the consciousness of being a soul. Ordinarily, we are in the consciousness of being a body. Ordinarily, you are in the consciousness of being someone, so and so, with a certain name, with a certain position, with a certain role. In a second, we can access the consciousness of being a soul. So let us now be in that awareness. You don't have to close your eyes or to have a certain position. Just experiencing the attainments in the soul conscious awareness. Soul consciousness is giving life once again to your true identity. In soul consciousness, you are aware that you are the true self, the being which is a spiritual being. Soul consciousness allows you to have an experience of the immortal soul. The soul never dies. Soul consciousness allows you to experience that eternal feeling. It is an awareness that finishes all the old habits. Soul consciousness is incompatible with anything that is negative. Anger, sadness, sorrow are not possible to be experienced in the mind in soul consciousness. In soul consciousness, you experience that you are a guest here. You have that attitude and feeling that you belong to a world that is permanent, constant, peaceful. And in the physical world, you are a guest and you are always secure. In soul consciousness, you experience that you are a trustee of all your possessions. The bike, the car, the house, the family have been entrusted to you. You are not the owner. All these are attainments and reality in soul consciousness. In soul consciousness, you experience freedom from the web of attachment. You feel free. You feel that the mind can fly. No bondage, no rope, no chain. Nothing to keep you down. In soul consciousness, you experience clarity. You say, I can see clearly, I can understand your problem, I can help you. There is a solution, and I know the steps. You can study well, you can focus well. In soul consciousness, you have the highest self-respect. You don't need any praise. And in soul consciousness, you are a constant giver, bestower, giving, sharing, seeing the specialities of others. Now for a few moments, guiding our mind with these thoughts, connecting our intellect with the attainment of that consciousness, you can feel the difference. You can feel the energy. You can feel the atmosphere that you create around you. This is a consciousness that allows you to be happy. Do you want to make it easy for yourself? Can you learn to use it, to activate it, to be in that consciousness most of the time? What do you think? Any comments now or any questions now? Anything you would like to say now? So, experiencing soul consciousness whilst we are walking, talking, interacting, cooking, driving, open eyes, just reminding ourselves of these benefits, of these attainments, of who we truly are. So what is it that made you happy? It's soul consciousness. How? How do we attain soul consciousness? In your experience, now you had these two experiences of being happy, sharing your specialities. Now you had like a meditative experience. When you are at home and you experience something similar, how did you do that? Who can tell us? How did you do that? Yes, Benjamin. Yes, very good. Spiritual practice, you said, meditation, gratitude. Yeah, no fear. Yes, anyone? What helps? All that you said have a foundation. You said spiritual. The foundation is simple, is understanding the way the mind is functioning. Let us look quickly at how our mind is functioning. There is an animation. Yeah, it's okay. Click now. Okay. Okay. Let's start with the mind. People would say that the whole change can be in the mind. The answer of everyone right now who deals with the problems that we have in the world is we have to address the mind. Now, if the mind would be the cause of all your sorrow and happiness, then two people that experience the same thing in the mind should have the same happiness and sorrow. But that is not the case. Two people who experience the same perceptions in the mind should have the same happiness and sorrow. That is not the case. Let's give the example of such a classroom. 2 students. They see the same teacher. They hear the same content. They have the same company. One is happy, one is sad or bored or not interested. Why? Mind is the same. Mind can see the same things, can hear, can feel, same. Why one is happy, one is sad? Yes?
Maybe one is thinking more body consciously and one is thinking more spiritually, so they are looking inward for the happiness.
Very good. So there is an influence from something that is deeper than the mind. In the mind are thoughts and feelings, but there is something deeper. Now let us look at the personality. There will be an influence from the personality. In the personality there are habits. One student has a trait of personality of being patient. He or she is patient and curious. He wants to know more. He's very interested in the class. The other student has a trait of personality of anxiety. He learned that maybe any situation can bring some danger. He's always feeling some possible threat somewhere. He will not going to have the same interest. There will be different feelings and thoughts within him. Very quickly, it is not only the mind that will solve the problem. It is not the mind that gives you happiness or sorrow. There is a deep connection with the personality, with the habits that you have created. Even that is not enough. Mind and personality and habits can be the same. Still, 2 students, 2 children have the same personality. Both learn to say thank you. One says thank you every time he meets someone. Another one doesn't want to say thank you. Both have the trait of personality. Both know how to do it. Both have been grateful in their life. But now one of them is doing it all the time, the other one is never doing it. Why? The third element in that is the intellect. And the intellect is the power within that acts like a filter that creates your own willpower. I want to say thank you or I don't want to say thank you. I have my own power of discrimination and decision. It is the intellect, the one that is reasoning about this world. It is the intellect, the one that discriminates what is good and what is wrong for me. It is the intellect, the one that makes decisions. So mind can be the same. Even personality can be the same. But it is the intellect. Whether the intellect is educated in a spiritual way or not, whether the intellect is able to see a higher perspective, a larger picture, that will create a huge difference in experiencing happiness in that inner life. This is a very useful model. If you want to change anything about yourself, you want to understand how you function inside. And this is how every human soul functions. Mind, intellect, personality. And you can see there is a loop within them. Once that loop has settled down into some negative thinking, into some negative old habits coming from the personality, someone was calling them bullies. Some bullies are coming from the personality on the stage of the mind. They won't allow other traits of personality that you have to come on the stage of the mind. On that personality are traits of creativity, of generosity, of benevolence, of singing and dancing. But that bullies, which can be anxiety, sadness, depression, anger, greediness, will keep on coming on the stage of the mind because the intellect doesn't have enough power to decide what to bring from the personality. That loop becomes a negative loop, a vicious loop. a loop that doesn't allow us to break the habits and to restore your happiness. What can you do? Where is the solution? In your experience, how can you deal with the functioning of the mind to restore that good traits of personality? Peaceful, loveful. What does it work for you? Yes?
Meditation's really very, very
Okay.
helpful because it kind of clears away excess rubbish, and then there's more room for the divine and for peace.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other comment? Does it make sense? Do you have any questions about this model? Can you understand it? It was very quick, but it can be very useful. Any questions? How can we come out of that loop, of that spiral? There is a need, you mentioned divine, there is a need of an external intervention. As you can see, when something goes in a spiral, when something goes on a loop, which one of these faculties of the soul can make the change? If the mind has certain feelings, the intellect has become weak, cannot decide, personality formed negative habits, all human souls are circling around in a loop that has some negativity in it. How many souls around the world now have some unhappiness in them? How many souls? The entire population has some unhappiness. How many souls now around the world are completely happy? Completely. No one. Why? So we are all work in progress. But where is the solution? Anyone who is subject of this model, anyone who is in that circling, in that loop, cannot help truly others. There is a need of a higher intervention. There is a need of the intervention of someone who remains above that vicious or that negative loop. Someone who is never trapped into negativity. Someone who has such a mind that is able to remain always in the attitude of being a bestower. Someone who has such an intellect that can always see clearly that everyone is a soul. Someone who is able to hold the vision that the future of each and every human soul is positive. That each one of them is divine, and each one of them has the original qualities of peace, love, and happiness. Someone whose personality is royal, noble, never wanting anything for themselves. Always ready to give. Someone whose intellect and whose personality are almighty, always powerful, able to find solutions and to implement those solutions. Do you know anyone like that? You can say Prime Minister, President, or your best friend. The Supreme. Yes. We call that one who stays above that loop of negativity the Supreme Soul. A soul that is constantly and always in the consciousness of being a soul. And that makes him aware of that supreme peace, supreme love, unconditional, unlimited happiness, unconditional love, being able to constantly share and radiate that love. being able to constantly see the goodness in each and every human soul. They have that capacity of accommodating every single thing that went wrong into the drama of life. You feel, it's such a big mistake I've done today. It's terrible. This soul, which is constantly in the awareness and the vibration and the energy of soul consciousness, ever pure, ever clear, ever clean, is able to accommodate in a second any mistake you come with. You feel it's a big mistake. They are able to take it in as an ocean and give it back to you as happiness, as acceptance, as trust, as love. They are playing, I'm saying they because it's not a he, it's not a she, but they are playing both roles of Supreme Mother, Supreme Father. They take that role through their love, through their power, through their care, through their sustenance that they are giving now to the human souls. And they can accommodate any mistake, any negative thought, any past wound. You give it to them and they accommodate it and they heal it and they feed it back to you as love. You are precious. You are deeply loved by the Supreme Soul. You are wonderful. You are a happy, wonderful, graceful, divine child. This is how they see you. This is how is their mind. This is how their intellect and personality works. Now, it is in this relationship with the Supreme Soul that loop will be taken to another level. And it will break. Is it possible to have the image again? I think it disappeared. It will break that loop of negativity, that old bad habits. It will be able to instill and to emerge positive habits. It will be able to bring back from your subconscious deep, very deep in your subconscious is the awareness of peace. I am a peaceful being and I know how to be peaceful. It is there in you. And in relationship with the Supreme Soul, you are able to bring that again in your awareness, to be emerged, to be aware of it. In the same way you are now aware that you are sitting here on the chair, in the relationship with the Supreme Soul, it's there in your mind all the time. I am peaceful, I am good, I am loving, I am vibrating good wishes for everyone. This is your experience because their experience is that. And in that moment, your happiness, whatever happiness you have now, becomes very rich. You are not renouncing anything in this relationship. You are just adding to it. It becomes like a multifaceted diamond. Your happiness starts to be filled with something new. And let us now again experience that you have that happiness. You are that happy, very happy soul. And now you are feeling that happiness with newness. It is not an ordinary happiness anymore. Happiness that is experienced in that box, that happiness can lead to low emotions, to temporary joy, that will lead to expectations, that can lead to sorrow. When I cannot remove that sorrow, there is anger, there is frustration, there is irritation. When I accumulate more sorrow, there is depression, sadness. Everything is in that box, that lower feelings, that lower emotions. The relationship with the Supreme takes you out of the box, coming out of that box, reminding yourself that you are a guest like the Supreme Soul, a trustee of everything that's in the box. Coming into soul consciousness through very simple words. Just practice for 1 week the awareness of the guest, the awareness of the trustee, and you will immediately be able to access soul consciousness in a second. Trustee, guest, visitor, free from the web of attachment. And in that awareness of the soul, in the relationship with the Supreme Soul, experience your happiness being filled with recognition. Just experience now, if you want, feeling yourself in soul consciousness with recognition, recognizing who you truly are, being recognized by the Supreme Soul, being seen by the Supreme Soul as being good, as being positive, worthy. The Supreme Soul recognizes you as being completely worthy, loving, happy, and you recognize yourself. It's a happiness that is filled with recognition of your true self. It's a happiness filled with trust. Feel your happiness now with trust. You are trustworthy. The Supreme Soul is trusting you. Look how much He entrusted you with. Look, you are entrusted with a good body. You are entrusted with a wonderful mind. You are entrusted with a good reasoning ability. True? You are entrusted with health, with wealth, with a family, with a job, career. Look how much trust there is. Feel your happiness with that trust. You are trustworthy. Someone like the Supreme Soul is trusting you with all of that. Feel your happiness with that trust. Feel your happiness with belonging, with love. It's not an ordinary happiness. It's not that superficial joy. It's a deep happiness that is filled with love. Being lovely and being loved. There is so much love in this relationship with the Supreme. Such a happiness, such a joy, such a cheerful nature that is filled with love, with belonging. You, the soul, belong to that eternal world. That is unbeatable. That can never be lost. That is imperishable. When happiness is associated with love, what can you want more? You have both. And from that, go even deeper. And now experience your happiness being filled with sharing, with giving. It's even deeper than being loved. It's good to be loved. It's very good to be loved and to be loving and lovely. But if you go deeper now into your feelings, that's the nature of the Supreme Soul, just giving. He is the happiest soul because he is giving. Now go deeper into your soul consciousness, into your feelings, into that happiness filled with you are a giver. Just give, just bestow, just radiate. For 1 minute. Shall we do that? For 1 minute. Let us just radiate from that space of happiness filled with trust, with love, with belonging. in the company of the Supreme Soul. Experiencing your happiness full with giving. Share the vibrations of peace with the world. Share the vibrations of love. Share vibrations of happiness filled with giving to the entire world in silence for 1 minute. Now never stop sharing. Go home and continue sharing. Thank you. So maybe time for a question or comments or questions? Good. To come?
Thank you, Hannah. It was wonderful. Happiness available to all of us, within all of us. And the way to get there is to be soul conscious and our connection with the divine. So thank you very much. If you want to go deeper into learning more about spirituality and soul consciousness, we have various courses here at GRC. We have our Raj Yoga Meditation course. You can do that either in-house or online, and that's run monthly. We also have a one-day retreat where you can learn about soul consciousness and learning how to experience soul consciousness. And the next one-day retreat is on the 22nd of June. Other things we have coming up, we have a meditation insight session on the 18th of June. That's a standalone session just to learn about meditation techniques that you can use in daily life. And on Friday the 21st of June, we have a summer solstice event, which will be in the grounds of GRC. There will be mindful movement, dancing and meditation, and that's on the 21st of June. And then we also have a forest bathing event on the 30th of June, again in the grounds of Global Retreat Centre. So details of all what I've mentioned and all the other events we have coming up in the next few weeks can be found on our website, globalretreatcentre.org. So once again, thank you to you, Hannah, and thank you all for coming, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Thank you.